Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment you've all been waiting for, it's Kephrii, and he's going to be pulling out the Widowmaker. I mean, yeah. How could you not?
Unless this is going to be a quick change, but I don't think it's going to be. It could
well be.
I was going to say, Hollywood is one of the few maps in this current map pool, in this current meta, that still really favors Widowmaker, or at least isn't a bad map for Widowmaker. You can make Widowmaker really work here, and it's going to be water onto Sombra as well, now onto the fire. So see what this duo can do.
And of course, if you can make Widowmaker work, if anyone could do it, you'd like to think it's Kephrii, at least on this team. Water just going to be trying to wrap around from the other side, looking to find an opening in this bunker. And
if you want to get a hit scan specialist onto your team, I mean, this is probably one of the few guys that you'd be willing to take on. And Victorious is actually playing this far, which means Kephrii, if he does get a nice shot onto him, that should be a kill.
Yeah, Victorious is having to play very conservatively. This is not a comfortable position for him. And now you see them just kind of forcing Phoenix to contest the point actively. A third already kind of stolen out by Global Esports Pantheon here. They are starting to take a bigger chunk of damage, especially Sick here. Does lose the mech as well. That's a little rough for them. That's what the McCree can do for you.
And the problem here is Global Esports don't really want to dive in, but they have the Nano now.
They want it anyway, and this has actually opened up Vendetta. He's decided to sit out in the open. Victorious finds N-Shock as well, and that was where they committed that Nano boost to. So Global Esports Pantheon even going in for a late res on Sick. They're actually very much in for a penny, in for a pound here, but I think they've got to drop back. Oh, that's a late catch on Water. He could be in trouble here. Or might just be able to get out.
I was going to say, they don't want to dive in because you are playing into a bunker cop where there is a Bionade, a sleep, also a flashbang. But once you have the nano boost and the 50% damage reduction, maybe then you do want to make an attempt. And they did make an attempt, but it wasn't really good enough for them. Vendetta goes down as big though.
That's what they've been fishing for this entire time. And now they're going to be rotating up to a rocket barrage. Victorious nearly has his, but by the time his is available, they're in a less favorable position. Water just needs to stay alive. Victorious with a nano boost is looking for an angle to commit it, and Water gets taken out by self-destruct. Kephrii gets found out by Victorious, and Ilsubi did also go down in the mix, but it doesn't matter. Victorious had not taken enough damage for it to stick. Medic getting picked late with that Valkyrie having been popped. You got to say it's a good defense so far from Phoenix.
Well played by Victorious specifically. He shut down Kephrii, which already took down 2 members. That was a solo rocket barrage, by the way, just for Kephrii. He had his name on it, and then went and denied the resurrection from Medic as well. So that immediately pushes back Global Esports, who are still sitting on that one tick that they kind of stole earlier. Secondary dive now. See how this one works.
And they can just kind of keep playing that same way. It was working. Trying to thread the needle on Victorious there. Kephrii doesn't quite find it. Water, though, has found Ilsubi, and that makes Victorious vulnerable. They've now kind of cracked it. The one thing that was stopping them from just charging into the bunker is no longer a factor as Water fishes 2 with the rocket barrage. What a catch, Donnie. Global Esports Pantheon finally going to unlock this payload.
And you're at the sort of stage where for Kephrii, he doesn't need to change here either, because B is a better point for Widowmaker than even A. And for Global Esports, they have this initial pressure. Now you got Water onto Genji as well. It's everybody's favorite heroes. It's everybody's best picks.
Oh, I mean, this is what I wanted to see out of Global Esports Pantheon. This is all I want for Christmas right now. And it's come early.
It's Water back on Genji.
Water on Genji, Kephrii on Widowmaker. I mean, let's get real. This is the Global Esports Pantheon everyone's been waiting to see.
Let's also get real, though. Phoenix, they are going to try and challenge player for player. Vendetta on the Widow, Victorious on the Genji as well, and it's going to be the aggressive dive from Phoenix first.
Oh, and it's paid off. They do actually trade, though, Medic for Melon. Melon can get raised if Ilsubi can get in safe, but that is going to be tough. And Hyok actually popped a Primal Rage to stay alive, so Phoenix, they have a bit of breathing room here.
I want to say Widow Genji is an old sort of composition we saw last season.
Hello.
Backed up by the blue beam, the damage boost coming from both Faras here as well. Kephrii trying to take this duel.
Oh, Victorious finds him out, able to get him off the high ground. Rez on back wall though, so Global Esports Pantheon not out of this, but Victorious getting aggressive, looking for Medic, doesn't find it. Water collapses back, takes him out. Now Water is unleashed. Can't find any more targets though. Looking for maybe something, nano boost to come out onto Melon. And this has just become an endless scrap and brawl that's really favoring the defense ultimately, just because the cart's not been able to move much. But a great catch by Water in among all this, and Global Esports Pantheon are finally starting to break the defense.
And look at that, Victorious pressured out as well. Water was on hunter killer mode. He knew Victorious had a blade as well, so if he could damage him out, then the blade wasn't going to come out. Now the push is starting to really begin for GE Pantheon, and for Phoenix, still waiting for a response here. Where is this blade?
Oh, There it is, man. This is what we wanted to see. Water goes forward, gets aggressive, finds the defense, finds his counterpart. Kephrii outsnipes Vendetta. This is what we're wanting to see out of this team. They're finally starting to hit a stride.
Yep.
Pogo as well.
Oh,
there it goes,
man. No
man.
remake.
Look
Phoenix
at Water go. That's a blade on the back line from Victorious. He actually does find two, but this does feel quite late in the game here. Yeah, the caps come through, and now Victorious on the wrong side. Kephrii finds him as well, just for good measure.
You've done it now. You put Kephrii on low ping in Korea. He's in the hyperbolic time chamber. He's going to play against all the Korean teams, Korean players on a minimal ping. This is exactly the kind of training he's been waiting for. And now for Global Esports, capping up B, moving into C. A full round of changes for Phoenix, going down onto Ryan Goats.
And it was looking really good for a moment for Phoenix. They were actually kind of in a good spot. They'd held out for quite a while on the defense, just kind of brawled it out. Now Global Esports Pantheon are going to make a shift up onto a Goats of their own. I think after Water uses this ultimate, he'll be onto Brigida. And speaking of, here he goes, good stun up. He only finds Ilsubi before getting picked out. But Global Esports might actually still want this fight. Between the rest of them, they got a lot of ultimates, but losing Backwall, they do trade with Paciul. Inhok gets aggressive, but Sick is low. Medic had to pull back for a moment as well. Self-destruct just kind of in the middle of nowhere on that one. Global Esports, this is a real tight spot for them.
It is interesting because you'd expect them to have pulled back by now, but they are finding a couple of kills. Note that these are actually kills they're getting after ultimates have been used. Primal Rage ended a while now, and they're just snowballing through, trying to collect a couple more. Melon goes down. No Earth Shatter from him.
And that's kind of punished Phoenix's position and Paciul's unwillingness to commit that transcendence in what he felt was not a fight. That was just a repositioning moment. And with that, Global Esports Pantheon are now pressuring a cap.
Cart's nearly there, and the ultimates are on the Phoenix side, so you're expecting a few to come out now. Where's the grab?
This has been wild. There goes Vendetta throwing out the grab onto the payload, finds SYC out of the mech now, and soon to drop down. There he goes alongside Inhyok, and with no tank lineup, they do have to flank the retreat. Kephrii, he might just go down here. That rally, yeah, no, there we go. Gets to the health pack just in time. Victorious's rally is going to stick a lot better, though.
We gotta have to be careful now for Global Esports. They need to start saving up and banking for that final push. They need a win condition here. We're looking at a very similar stage where we were onto basically both the stages of Lee Jung-Tao, where at the end of the actual maps, Global Esports just didn't have the firepower. They didn't have the fuel remaining to actually push the card across the final distance. Now they need that. They need Kephrii's grab. They need this Transcendence to really stick from backwall as well.
The honest swing point of this could actually be Palwu's self-destruct. He sends it forward just to force Global Esports back. Nicely blocked, but they did take some hurt. Now they have to reposition. Kephrii was isolated. He didn't fall back. He went to the side to avoid the self-destruct. Now they have to not lose anyone else while they wait for him to respawn. No, Inhyok goes down. This is going to be down to the wire.
And you can't Transcendence here either because you you potentially lose the game. 15 seconds remaining, waiting for a couple more respawns, and Global Esports have to fight right out the doors.
I love this posturing from Phoenix. They've got an Earth Shatter. They've got a Graviton Surge right at the base gate. No one's even going to get close to that payload. That is excellent. That is playing for your win condition. And that is just Backwall trying to get close to the payload. That was very nicely handled at the end by Phoenix.
Yeah, it certainly was, and they had the ability to do so as well. Both the supports were coming up on those support ultimates. They had options even against the Graviton Surge, which we were waiting for. So I think there is a world where Kephrii survives on 90% charge, comes back with the grab still available. The rest of the Global Esports side is staying alive as well. They go for that final push. Maybe they can outplay the Transcendence. Maybe they can outplay the Sound Barrier and still get it across the line. But it did start to look a little bit shaky there. You did see a final late change from Inhyok from the Winston onto the Reinhardt. And this is kind of still where we're seeing Global Esports again, right in those final moments. Just no clear win conditions, no clear ways to really win against Phoenix when Phoenix has just built up ults to defend.
And like I said, the swing point, if any, was going to be the self-destruct from Powu. He positioned it so nicely, and it was a forced error out of Global Esports Pantheon. Most of the team retreating, and then Kephrii going off to the side. And it's just, again, it's those microcosmic little things that really do make or break those situations.
Speaking of microcosmic things right now, I do kind of feel like Kephrii should be wanting to go to a McCree here. Because they were starting to look like they were going to play a bunker comp with the Super McCree, which would have been quite effective. Now changing onto a Winston dive with the Genji Widowmaker from before as well. So this could go a couple of different ways. I mean, they now have a lot of pressure themselves to kind of dive, and they're not in the sort of position where they can just bunker up and wait for Phoenix to come to them. Enabling Kephrii here is going to be quite important because as a defensive Widowmaker, he's actually got a lot less space to play with than an offensive Widowmaker.
I like that they've actually changed Water over onto the Pharah. It'll give them a better kind of pressure to open up Kephrii compared to the Genji in this situation.
Yeah. Also double value on medics on the Mercy there as well, because damage boost works for both Kephrii and Water, especially if you're hitting hit shots like that.
That's what they're just trying to enable here. They pummel out the tanks. They manage to isolate Ilsubi. Now good dive and collapse on Paciol. And this is just what GE Pantheon want to do for the rest of this defense.
Yeah, not a huge amount of kills, just does buy them 30 seconds, does force Phoenix back a little bit. The Kephrii's going to come up on Infrasight, I guess, will be the first ultimate of the game, and that's going to give them some information, but no super impactful ultimates just yet from Global Esports.
Phoenix, though, even further away from those high-impact ultimates. In fact, closest in charge for them is Paciol on a Transcendence.
That's a hit shot.
It'll be very useful, though, potentially. Kephrii does get forced off that position, needs to get out of there. Here we go. Grappling hook and just repositions. Now Powu's in for the dive to follow up Kephrii. They're going to try to protect him, but oh, man! While they're still killing him, he fights to threads the needle on those shots. But unfortunately, the rest of the team now in a very tight spot. This is not the fight they wanted here. It's a very late Transcendence to come out of Paciol, but I think it's well worth it because they do kind of have possession on the point.
Well, that's going to stop them from losing any more members. You also got to consider the respawn distance. GE Pantheon is so much more, or rather Phoenix is so much closer to this, so now they have their full team back. GE Pantheon is still waiting to regroup.
But the moment Kephrii's back in, he finds a headshot. Now he gets pressure on Vendetta. Oh, nice stun. Stops him from going over there. Water at least finds one back before going down to his own rockets. Really tough break there. SYC finds Paciol. Poe, self-destruct, will not find anything. So Global Esports may actually be starting to stabilize here.
We're starting to see now if Vendetta wants to use his grab. I'm going to suspect he does. Oh, not quite yet.
SYC out of the mech, though. That's an opportunity, and he does indeed commit it onto Inhyuk, but Backwall responds with a Transcendence. Medic's trying to get back into this. Water has come into the fight. Vendetta forced around to find Water, finish him off. Now they come back in. Kephrii may just fish for something, but should know better than to commit too hard onto this. Yeah, he's done. He's gone down here. This is going to be Phoenix's point at this point. Now, Global Esports Pantheon scrapped it up for a while and really burned down the clock, but Phoenix will finally take control of the situation.
And GE Pantheon had a couple moments here, you know, 2 quick headshots from Kephrii, goes down himself. It's up until that last respawn from him. Every time he went down, he took somebody with him. And just getting that 1-for-1 value has been very effective for Global Esports. But unfortunately now, you're sort of in the position where you're thinking maybe he goes on to a McCree, maybe it's a little bit more effective, stays on the Widowmaker, which actually does have a lot of value on the speed defense, especially now with the Infrasight as well, staying on the Genji as well for Water. Need to start seeing where this Infrasight does, or rather how it's going to get used here and where they can find the kills.
And there goes Melon. Good open. Nearly caught that one, but not quite. They have stopped the payload movement just for the time being.
And the respect is being given here as well. You see Phoenix just moving backwards. They know the Infrasight is available, it's out there. They don't want to be giving away a lot of information. That actually allows Global Esports to regroup on top of the card. Kephrii still outputting a lot of pressure though, so Phoenix still just have to work around this.
He's, I mean, already nearly back up at the Empress.
Just a lot of damage.
Just ran out. I mean, look at how much hurt Vendetta took on the rotation. Ilsubi actually has to pop a sound barrier just to make sure they can actually commit to this fight. Victoria's isolated. Water pounces on that one. Stays alive as well. Nice rescue from Medic with the Valkyrie running, but that does make this fight that little bit more expensive. Poe commits to self-destruct. Oh, that's a grab in the middle of nowhere. Not sure what went on there, but Phoenix, they have at least got back onto the payload, but now losing Melon a little bit too late there from Paciol, and Backwall also matches. Global Esports still in control of this fight as Kephrii finds Ilsubi as well.
And it's just so hard to get on top of these DPSs. Who do you go for? Do you go for Water? Do you go for Kephrii? Well, you can't really go for either because for Phoenix, they're on the ground. You actually have to have good card distance to get up to Kephrii in the first place. While a lot of damage being output, Kefrii's able to just clean up with body shots. He's still hitting headshots anyway, but he's able to just get that final hit in there, collect those couple of kills, gets that second Infrasight super quick as well. Vendetta now feels like he has to challenge Kephrii in the 1v1 to really get past this point.
She maybe consider. No, he is going to commit to it. Made a half movement back to spawn.
Look at that. Melon has a solo primal range.
Oh boy.
Just to do something about Kephrii.
Vendetta did find Kephrii out though, you've got to say, if it works, it works. SYC as well gets picked off. Medic does commit a res there, and immediately they start turning things back around, having taken off Victorious. Kephrii still goes down a second time, but with Water and Medic still in this, threatening that rocket barrage, Powwu out of the mag. They might not even need it to clean up the fight here. They still actually hold on despite a good opener from Phoenix.
And now at 1 minute 30, you're at the sort of stage where even if Phoenix complete this cap, they don't have a lot of time to play with onto C. They only have another extra 1 minute and 30. So for Global Esports, they're now in a super winnable position. Phoenix would have to cap this and then snowball double cap onto C to actually be able to win Hollywood. Global Esports, if they can continue holding this defense, they should win Hollywood now.
Oh, nice catch again with the headshot. Water does trade one back, now two back, or if you count the mech, does trade himself for it, and Phoenix have a closer respawn, starting to come close to some ultimates as well. Well, Poe would just not quite get back in the mech, but again, res committed to Kephrii, and Global Esports are not in a bad spot at all.
You're at the stage now, less than 1 minute remaining. Look at the ultimates available for Phoenix, but they're not able to get in positions where it really matters. You saw in a previous fight, despite Peso using Transcendence, well, Widowmaker Headshot just doesn't care about that. Vendetta now really starting to flex himself. Water going down is not good news.
Oh, now Victorious finds out Kephrii. They've kind of cracked this one open. Medic, he can still commit a res onto Kephrii, but I don't think he's going to. This is the kind of momentum they needed, and it just came off the back of two excellent picks from the DPSs.
And it just will now result in another defense for Global Esports in the final sort of section here onto B, as we do hit into that overtime, which will inevitably happen now.
Oh, Water went very far forward and a quick smart follow-up. This is very aggressive for Victorious, though it doesn't quite get out alive. At least he got back wall, made it worthwhile. By the time he pulled out the blade, unfortunately, Water and Medic were dead. This ought to result in a cap now for Phoenix, and Global Esports know it.
Not necessarily, because we do still have a Transcendence. I expect Global Esports to come out.
They want to commit. Self-destruct onto the card as well, doesn't find anything. Paceal commits Transcendence, but doesn't save Melon. Now backwall answers with his own. Kephrii, though, is the only major damage to come out right now, but
that's a shutdown.
Still finds Ilsubi right as he was channeling that sound barrier. Paceal as well found out, unless Powwu gets a rescue here. Oh, it looks like Global Esports, they might have anchored this defense heavily enough. Powwu gonna be popped out of this mech here, and he's not on the payload itself. And now the series gonna get tied up.
You can see at the end there, potentially a game-winning play, just denying Ilsubi